Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to look at an app that just came out fairly recently, or at least I've just discovered it recently. I don't know how long ago it actually came out. It's one that I found on AppSumo a couple weeks ago called Katalist, and this, of course, is the main page for Katalist. What this is this is a AI-powered digital storyboard maker, and it's great for authors, writers, screenwriters, whoever you are, whatever kind of storytelling model you're going for, even if you're a business owner just trying to tell a cool story about your business. This tool here is great because you can take a simple prompt and feed it into the engine, and it'll spit out a storyboard or a series of prompts that equal a storyboard, and then it'll go and create pictures according to that story. And it's pretty innovative. I'll show you just quickly the main page, and I'll probably link a description so you can see it for yourself. But I want to show you guys what this does, and then I want to actually take my short story shell out and convert it into not just a storyboard, but a narrated animated one, or not actually animated, but I want to create a video where I'm using the storyboards and some voiceover technology to actually show the visualization of the story. So an 8-part short story becomes essentially a still shot movie. And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a cool system. So I want to show this to you guys. So this is the back end of Katalist AI, or the dashboard. And you can see that I have a few generations already. New Beginnings is the one that they give you when you first sign up in the program, and they give you an automatic prompt, and then they'll give you a generation based on that prompt. And I always like to do the samples to see, like, same thing with Jessica's new band. It was one that they suggested I try, and you can see the results of it. Not always great. Obviously, you can see that this here doesn't look particularly well, but what I could do is I can go to an edit of the slide, and if I don't like the prompt that they gave me, I can generate a new one based off of the same ideas, or I can change the ideas and give them, or have them give me something else. But if I want to do a new one, I'll just do a new generation, and it'll create a new image down over here that I can use to replace this particular one if I want to. And while that's doing that, I'm not sure if I can back away. Yeah, there it goes. You'll see it's giving me several new images. And so if I like one over the other, maybe I like this one better, then I can choose that and then check, and that way it'll save. And so when I go back to my storyboard, the double head's gone, and now I got Jessica looking like she's either into the song or looking like the bartender just slipped somebody a roofie and she's not sure what to do about it. But I won't judge what's happening in that scene because I don't know. But that's just a couple of the generations that came default with the engine. And then when I was at my workplace, I was showing some coworkers that item. So I had one suggest to try and for allergies. And so we had a story about Isabel, who goes to Epcot to the flower exhibit, and this is she had a bit of a rough day because allergies and flowers go well together. But you'll notice that this is in the kind of storyboard format, or the sketch format. So this is really cool if you want to do traditional storyboard sketches, and you want to have your imagination spark, or if you're like let's say an actual filmmaker and you don't necessarily want the AI art or an image to infringe on your vision, but you still want the traditional sketch style, this would do that. And we did the same thing for another one wanted to do a Dungeons and Dragons retelling from the really bad the bad ending that they had against the vampire, and so we replayed that in the story. And I think this is the one that I switched over. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun. Actually, I'm sorry, one more thing I forgot to mention is you have a presentation slide. You go to present and click on it. What it's going to do, it's going to generate an actual visual slideshow that you can scroll through with your arrow key. So, and you can copy the link to it. But yeah, so you can see here that you've got, you can scroll back and forth between the images with your arrow key, and you'll see at the bottom you have the prompt is written out in this slideshow form, where it's like a subtitle. So what I wanted to do, not necessarily with this story, because I don't care about this story, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the prompt here and I wanted to put it in a voiceover app and create a movie based on the story that I actually want to generate. I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know, but let's go ahead and instead of doing that now, I want to actually first show you what it looks like to generate a new project. So what we're going to do is I think you go into create a new project, and then we'll call it something interesting. So I'm thinking we'll do, actually I had an idea earlier and I can't remember what it was. So I'll make up something new on the fly. But we'll do, let's say Pigeon versus bread. And we'll do this, I'm going to keep the sketch form. Sketch is kind of fun. I'm going to do the 16:9 landscape because that is the standard cinematic still. And because I'm not doing social media for this particular topic, I think it's going to be more interesting to keep it looking like a movie. So we're going to create it. And then I'm going to do help me script the draft because I don't have a CSV already created for this. And I don't want to necessarily go from scratch. So I'm going to have the draft the sketch. This is kind of what I've been doing for the others too. And so you can see here's Jessica Starks the Rock Band. There's a couple others there that they give you on the fly. But obviously I'm not going to do that. What I want is a pigeon in New York sits on a rooftop when a piece, or sorry, is sitting on a rooftop when someone tosses a piece of bread out from a higher window and bread lands in front of the pigeon. Write story, write a I'm gonna try. What is this called? Story. Write a storyboard about what happens when the bread hits the roof and the pigeon is uncertain whether it is safe to eat. So I don't know. We'll see what it does with that. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe it'll be stupid. But that's with, in case with AI, you can never really be sure. So we're going to generate the storyboard. This is what it gave us. And you'll see that I have the option to edit it if I don't like it, or I can just trash it all together. But it always defaults with 6 different pieces here. So we got the pigeon perched on a rooftop, scanning the bus 6 feet below. Suddenly, a piece of bread is rolling down the higher window. Okay, so far I like that. Star pigeon cautiously approaches the bed, eyeing it with suspicion. A gust of wind blows, causing bread to shift slightly further intriguing. Okay, I'm not sure about that one. The pigeon musters up the courage and takes a small peck at the bread, tastes it safely. Satisfied the bread is indeed edible. The pigeon gleefully devours the rest. It comes scattering. It's like I'm tempted to say it turns out the bread is moldy and the pigeon is afraid, but we're gonna stick to the classic kind of boring because it's a happy thing. So happy scripts are fine, and that's what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for it to generate, but that's also boring. So I'm actually gonna pause the video and let it. Actually, I may not need to. It's as you can see, it's fairly quick at creating the images once it has an idea. Yeah, you see the first one's already made, and the rest will follow. But here's our first picture. The pigeon perched on the rooftop, standing about 6 feet below, and that's all the whole thing. The rest coming through. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pause. You can see how fast it is, and then we'll see the rest once it's through. All right, so the images are done. The whole thing took about maybe 3 minutes total for all 6 pictures to come through. But you can see we've got an entire storyboard. If we want more, we can create a new frame, but I'm not going to do that because I think the frames we have are fine. But we do want to go ahead and look at the slideshow to see how nice it is, and then we can make our decision whether or not it's actually good. So this is pigeon versus bread. The pigeon perched on a rooftop, scanning the bustling streets below. So I like the sketch. I think the sketch quality is actually really good. Definitely looks like a storyboard. The pigeon looks nice. And I like that they start throwing in new pigeons here. But suddenly a piece of bird comes hurtling down a higher window and lands right in front of the pigeon. What I would like to see is an actual shot of the bread coming out of the window. It didn't give me that, but what I would probably want to do is do a new generation to see if I can get a better shot of bread actually coming out of a window. But they did get the fact that it lands. And if I were doing a more structured storyboard, I might go ahead and just manually write those prompts in myself. Startle the pigeon, cautiously approaches the bread, eyeing it with suspicion. It's the same piece of bread, more or less. Gust of wind blows, causing the bread to shift slightly further, intriguing the pigeon. Okay, and that's, again, nice little coloring there. I didn't necessarily need the color, but I like that. It still contrasts well, and of course, get the other pigeons are tempted. The pigeon musters up courage and takes a small peck of the bread, testing its safety. Again, doesn't show that. He's just looking at it, so that one I might want to regenerate. And then there's some weirdness happening with the beak. That's actually kind of scary looking out in the story. I think that image looks great. Satisfies the bread is indeed edible. The pigeon gleefully devours the rest of the crumbs, scattering it its way. So then we're back to the beginning. But that's, not a terrible generation, but I might want to refine it. So I'm not going to do that on camera. But you saw that there's a way to refine it. So let's go ahead and go back to projects here. What I really want to do is I want to turn my story shell out into a cinematic. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is I'm going to translate the first chapter of shell out into what I like to be a 9-part storyboard. And I think it does give me the option to do that through, we're going to try it a couple ways. We're going to create a new project. This time we're going to make cinematic. This will be shell out test. This won't be the official. I'll do that one separately, but we're going to do shell out test, or we'll do chapter 1 test. Great. And then what I want to do is I want to attempt to run the chapter through this thing here. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll see. All right, so I imported the chapter, and it actually pulls the whole thing in as a script. It's not necessarily a good idea to bring your whole chapter in. You ideally want to bring a script in. So because this is not going to be an ideal method for creating your storyboard, we're not going to use this. So we're not going to import it. We're just going to X out. What we're going to do instead is I'm going to rename the chapter because it's no longer going to be a test. Now it's going to be chapter 1. But before I do that, I'm going to actually go into my chatbot here. This is called Straico. This is where I create special, different AI prompts using all the different models. It's not just GPT-4. I can use any of these. All right, and then what I would normally do is create a template for my prompt, and we'll do that through here. All right, we're going to call this Storyboard. Okay. Okay, description is going, this will transform a story chapter into a story board. Okay, and then we're going to use Claude 3 Sonnet for this one next. And then we're not going to do an image, we will do an attachment. And this is going to be called chapter document. All right, and then the prompt itself is going to actually need to create a variable here. Can I do that? No, I have to do a separate one. All right, so please create okay, this is going to be a variable here. And sorry if I hope this isn't boring to you guys. This is part of the process of what I want to do. If you're using ChatGPT 4, or the Pro plan, you might be familiar with how this works. What I'm doing is I'm creating a template for the chatbot that I can easily just plug in every time I want to create the same action. So I'm creating the action and kind of giving you guys a bonus tutorial on how to do that with one of these types of tools. So that's why I'm actually playing this out on video and not just doing it off camera, although I could. But I think you guys are used to me doing things longhand on this channel anyway, so no big surprise if you've been here before. All right, so I want to do a let's see, number. So we're going to plug in the number for how many steps. I'm going to number step storyboard based on the submitted chapter. Please pilot, or please create a number step storyboard based on the submitted chapter. Make sure that the selected number of story frames is expected, but also make sure to create the most engaging, be sure to include, create steps based on the most engaging actions or moments in the chapter. Remember that storyboards are visual, so please make the descriptions as vivid as possible without using more than 256 characters. I'm doing this because I want to keep it manageable on the slideshow. It's too long, it's going to be dull. Actually, let's make it 512, right? That would give us 100 words. No, let's keep it 256. Let's force it to be good. All right. So we're going to experiment with this one. I don't know how good it's going to be, but it won't be a bad experiment. Okay, so let me make sure I like it. Please create a storyboard based on the submitted chapter. Make sure that the selected number of story frames is respected. Just to make sure to create steps based on the most engaging actions from the chapter number storyboards or visuals. So please make sure as good as possible, not using more than 56 characters. Okay, that should be fine. Next, oh, hold on. For each step. But step. I want to make sure that's all right. So that should be good, and then we're going to save it. All right, so now it's going to show up in my templates here, and then we're going to practice it. So right now I'm using, well, it doesn't matter what I'm using because this is going to default to Claude 3. That's going to use up 5 of my credits. So if I go to Claude 3, and then I want the number to be 9. So we do that, and then we're going to do the attachments. All right, so I'm going to select chapter 1. Now, you'll notice that I took my original story and I split them out already. I did this for the convenience of doing this presentation because, again, I'm not doing a storyboard based on the entire story. I want to do it based on the sections. So it's important that I split out all the chapters into their own file to do this. And it is in docx, not doc. Most people are doing docx now anyway, but I like to include the holdouts for old technology just into this. All right, so I'm inserting it, and now I don't need any of this, so we're going to insert the whole thing. All right, so now it's attached. I'm going to use up 50 credits for just to ask the question. And you'll notice that I didn't put my variable down here. I probably could have also wrote out the number, but we're going to try it this way because I want to see if I actually get 9 prompts. So let's find out what it does. It might work, it might not, but we shall see. All right, so you'll see I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks like 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I think we got 9. pretty good. So we're going to copy it. And then we're going to go back to the storyboard here. And then we're going to actually create an empty project this time. So what I would probably have to do if I did this manually is I would do each prompt separately, but I don't want to do that. I want to go back to, all right, we're going to go to new project and I'll show that one because I want to, again, I want to actually use what they gave me, chapter 1. Okay, it's going to be cinematic create. We actually got to create a file. Let's do that real quick. So I'm going to edit out the numbers here. All right, go ahead and see what happens here. All right, so as you can see, it took all of my prompts from the chat that we just created and import it. And now you'll see it's counted the right number of frames. So once again, I'll go ahead and pause the video so we can, and then I'll show you what the result was. It didn't like what I did, so I'm going to have to do each one separately. Okay, so some time has passed. This is actually, I've had a bit of a snag. I think the service might be busy. I actually had to reset a few times, but I'm still waiting to generate these last two. I keep getting timed out. But what I wanted to show you, this is sort of the premise of what we're running with right now. You'll notice that there's a couple characters here, some obviously double props, some of the stuff that we normally see with AI we have to sort through. The one thing I want you to notice in this generation is the characters are consistent. So it recognizes the actors playing the characters. So right now, if you click on this guy, Daniel, you click on his name, you'll see I can choose one or the other. You've got Liam over here as the boy. Then you also have some scenes in here you can click on. And so what's cool is if you go into the edit section, you'll notice that over here, you don't just have your description of the scene. You also have the ability to change the angle here, or the character. So right now it shows the character Daniel playing Greg's father. If I don't want Daniel playing it, then I can click on his face and I can add a new character, or maybe I can change the name of it. But right now we've got Daniel playing the dad, Liam playing the kid. Hopefully the kid will, when we bring him to college, she'll be a little older. Because this chapter 1 is sort of like the opening where we learn Greg's sort of problem where he wants to go to school and his dad, and all of his optimism says, yeah, you can go there, but you're going to have to send yourself. And, as a boy, he's like, but I want you to pay for my college. And dad's like, yeah, no, I can't afford it. So that's essentially what we're working with here. And, I think the scene is actually a really funny scene. If you know the story, this scene is pretty hilarious because it reminds me of, I want to say, Cult Fiction when Christopher Walken comes in with the watch and he just sits the boy down and says, I came here, with your grandfather's watch. I can't do Christopher Walken. It's a tough voice to imitate. But I like the expression how he's basically about to throw his own kid under the bus. Said, yeah, better save up. But it's also cool too. You notice that the background is also consistent. So anytime they bring it in Greg's living room, it actually maintains the same background image. But when we go to the bedroom, we got yet another one. So it's pretty flexible with what you can do, and of course, again, it's not necessarily going to be perfect like any app. You're going to run into your snags. And so it takes a little bit of finessing to make sure it all works. Hey guys, before I get to the end of the video, I just wanted to cut in from 2 days into the future to show you just a couple of things that I discovered since I created the original version of this video. Nothing really, crazy or anything, but I realized that there's a major feature that I completely overlooked, actually 2 of them, that I think you guys will want to know about if you decide that you want to use this. But the other major thing too is the limitations that this program has when it comes to the numbers of images you can create within a single file. I didn't know that it had a limit until I got about halfway through my major shell complete section here. So I do want to show you what that limit is, and then I also want to show you the 2 features that I didn't realize that this could do that I think is actually kind of a game changer and pretty important. So if I go into the shell complete section here, I want to show you guys, I do have a much more fully rendered video series, but you'll see that it broke out right at this point here. And the reason is if I click on play, I'm going to notice the little button that's going to pop up here at the bottom here in just a moment, maybe perhaps. And if it doesn't pop up, then, yep, there it is. Your storyboard contains too many scenes. So there is a point where it can't do anymore. I think the number is about 30 based on my count from where I stopped. So bear that in mind if you decide that you want to get this program. You will want to either split up your files into separate chapters, or you'll want to account for a 30 still series. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you. And by the way, it's not a problem if you guys decide to do separate chapters, because if you plan it out just right, you'll find that it's actually pretty workable. And the reason is if I go into my test chapter 2 series, you'll see that I've already created some scenes here. And what I wanted you to notice too is at the bottom of every scene, you'll see these tags here, like Greg's house, Greg, and Jimmy, and that. And what it does, it shows you who the character is and what the scene is. So that implies that there is some memory that the program has that you can use in your editing. And if you go into, let's say, this section here, I'll just do this video, you'll see that I've already had some previous generations. And you'll notice that there's a specific difference between the first original scene and what you see on the subsequent scenes. And it comes down to this little title here and what I've written in the prompt. I wanted the scene to actually show him holding the money. And nothing I was doing was actually getting it to work. But that's when I remembered that the other feature or one of the other features that you can do once you go inside the actor selection or the prompt basically is you have something called control net, where if you click this little button here, it's going to create a wireframe that's going to allow you to actually dictate where certain images go. So like if you want the character looking a certain way, or right here you can see where I've got the arm different. If you click on any side, anything within the frame, you can move it around. Come on, there you go. You have to actually click and drag it. You'll see that you have the whole wireframe and you can do whatever you want, or you can click on a point in between if you are coordinated better than I am. And then you can just kind of move things around. Now, I like the scene, so I'm not going to actually regenerate this, but that's how I was able to get the hand to show up with the money. But the other thing that's really cool, too, is you have these actor selections. So if you, let's say you don't want Greg to be in the scene, you want somebody else, you can click the button here, and it's going to pull up the different actors that the engine generated for the original storyline. And if you want to choose a different character, you can just add a new character and then pick from the current list. And once you click the guy there, you can give them a name. And then they'll be associated with that character for the rest of that particular slideshow. So it's pretty cool. I guess there'll be more faces, but at some point they'll also allow you to create your own characters based on your own uploads. It's not there yet, but at some point that's what they're promising, is that they'll let us do that. But again, I'm not really interested in messing up the image, so I'm not going to save that. But I wanted you guys to see that you do have those options to be more specific with what you want in the scene. And that's why I was able to, up here, create a different character entirely to play out this scene, right? Because originally it generated Greg, and somehow it associated Greg as his own dad. That was weird. But I'm like, no. You need to actually show a different character if you're going to represent the father. So that's what I had it do. So I deleted the Greg hashtag here, and I added Jimmy, and just regenerated it. And now Jimmy's dad just standing there. And of course, I also updated the house, because you can also change the description of the scene, and every subsequent frame will then adopt that background image. So that's some of the flexibility you have if you do this. And I wanted to make sure you all saw that before I got to the end of the video, because again, I didn't realize that I had this option when I first recorded this. But yeah, I thought it was worth showing. But the other thing I wanted to show you guys before I wrap this video up is if you want to actually turn this into a video, obviously you'd want to go into the slideshow, and you can do a recording of each slide. But what I think is really neat is if you grab the, that's right, you can also use the storyboard. I forgot about that. If you grab the text, I don't know if I can do that. I think I have to click in here. Edit. If I grab the text here, I can run it into a text audio app and convert it into an AI speaker. And so I do have another one of those. I probably don't need to demonstrate that because I'm sure you all know what AI generated voices sound like. But in combination with the slides, the text, and of course the audio, you can make a video based on whatever story you're working on. And I think it's pretty cool. So let me show you guys one more time. So again, the app is called Katalist, and you saw how it worked. But one reason why I think it's worth bringing up now is because I bought it over at AppSumo. AppSumo is the store where you, if you want to get lifetime deals on mediocre to pretty good apps that may or may not survive more than a few years, this is the place to go. And you can get subscription software for a single lifetime price. And right now you can get this one for $49 for the cheapest deal, or you can get the one that I paid for, which is License Tier 2, which gives you basically everything that the first one gives you, but unlimited images. Or if you want to go one step up and you want to work with people, you can get the third one for $200 and have team operations and things. So if you're a team, working on a project, this third one will probably be good for you because you have up to 5 people work on the same app. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool program. Definitely something that I think is innovative. So if you all are interested in it, check it out. And again, I'll have this link to the original store before in the show notes. And yeah, check it out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.